about that time. I even transitioned a little early because I felt like it. But what is up, everybody? Hey, I've been watching on the old YouTubes and the people here in the live stream. What's up? You know who I am. My name is Felice, and I am back again with episode number 37 of The Edge. We're going to have a lot to talk about tonight, so we're going to get right into it. We got the news of the week, we got our complete Blizzcon 2014 guide, and of course, some extra news that have just popped on the last hour or two. But first, as always, the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Madlow.
Hello.
Hello. What's up?
What's up? Last week we cleared out Siege of Orgrimmar in one day, about 3.5 hours. It's very nice. And actually, that's kind of my goal for the next expansion. So to get our raids all cleared out within a day or two, so we can have the rest of the week to do whatever the heck we want, like play other games. So it's kind of refreshing. Any of you out there looking for a awesome Alliance raiding guild, please do check me out.
Awesome.
Shameless plug.
Awesome.
I also bought a condo, put down a down payment on it. So yeah,
that's exciting.
I'm being all responsible and adult and stuff now. It's kind of weird, eh?
Welcome to Welcome to home ownership.
Home ownership. She said home ownership.
Okay.
It has English.
Wow.
Other than myself, Sam.
Yeah, it's exciting. I've been in my house for 2 years now, so I know the feeling.
Yeah.
Gaming wise, we cleared Siege in one night. It was nice. Better than the 3-nighter the week before because Garrosh is a douchebag. Other than grinding for the Headless Horseman mount, I have not spent much time in WoW this week. Been doing more drawing Warcrafty things that are silly at the suggestion of folks on Twitter.
Sounds like fun.
It's different.
You see all those badges that Noxu did? She posted on Twitter a few minutes ago. Like half hour ago.
Oh my god, that's a... Well, and that's just the one that she's bringing to Anaheim. That's not even,
what she's done
the
for
like
stuff.
150 plus that she did otherwise.
That's crazy. What's up with you, Will?
I got me a Lich King costume.
Nice, dude.
Yay!
So I saw someone was just posting on the chance to get the minimum amount of tricky treats out of the whole thing. And I guess it's like 1 in something 11 trillion or something like that.
Wow.
So, but if you got the minimum, you would still end up with 506. So you could do it technically. But I got mine. How many days are there left here? There's like
a few.
5 more days, and I got it already. So, yep, that's
nice.
about it for me. Doing housework and getting calloused hands and all that other kind of stuff. So
Cool.
Yep.
Well, that's for me. I moved my rogue over to Thrall finally, so I'm no longer on Shattered Hand. So that's a little bit weird. So pretty much just gonna see if I can get into Will's guild, so we can do some raiding there. That'd be fun. And a lot of Heroes of the Storm and StarCraft 2. I like to switch it up a little bit. Before I was playing a bunch of Diablo and Hearthstone, and now it's all Heroes and StarCraft 2. So it's kind of hard.
You hit level 20 yet?
The only constant
No, yeah,
is
I'm like
all
level,
Blizzard all the time.
I'm like 12 or something. I'm getting there. It's just not as fun when you play
By yourself. Yeah.
So
It's a team game, man. Team game.
What was there's some deal about getting to level 20 and then you can get other people on your real ID invited?
yeah, you can invite people. Like, you have a chance to get that person into the alpha.
Okay, because someone was saying that earlier on Twitter or guild chat or something.
Yeah, it's
I
not,
was like,
it's not
that's
guaranteed.
interesting.
It's not guaranteed.
You win
Yeah.
a chance.
Right. Right. Because that would just be
Okay.
crazy. Because people that would like farm that all the time. Like
Oh, yeah.
or like pay like in real life money to like get in, and you know how it is. People
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
Crazy, so
Gotcha.
I think the way it went, because it's on the Heroes of the Storm Facebook page, they're going to be doing 4,000 invites, and people that are eligible, it will invite their whole friends list. So I can see people maybe selling friends lists.
oh yeah, I mean
Who wants to be my friend?
it causes a
Or
problem.
Matt's friend.
But we'll see how it goes. Yeah, I'm sure it won't be that bad. I mean, getting to 20 does take a little bit of time. So, and it's not like a bunch of people that have the alpha. I mean, I feel like everyone I know has it, but that's also a lot of people I know are pretty ingrained in the community too. So I don't know. So going forward here into the news, so that way we can get into the old BlizzCon guide. Character services are on sale. It's a big reason why I did move my rogue this week. 25% off, so it cost me $18 rather than $25 to move over to Thrall, which is cool. So you can move guilds, faction change, or character transfer. So if this is the time you're getting into a new guild or you want to change servers for the expansion, this would be the time to do it. Tomorrow, what's up? What?
I said, my whole guild asked me, Matt, when are we all going to transfer Horde? It's on sale. Why don't we just do it now? And I'm like,
Do it.
I can't tell if you're trolling me or not.
Do it.
is that a pun? That's a really
Are you
bad
trolling
pun.
me? Is that what's going on?
Do it.
No.
You can, however, if you have access to the Warlords of Draenor beta, sign into the PvP realms tomorrow and actually play, or have a chance, if you can find them, to find Halinka and, I'm going to butcher this guy's last name, it's Chris Kaliki? Is that right? Kaliki?
That's what it looks like.
Yeah, okay.
Kaleki?
Listen, if he watches this show, which who knows if he does, but if he does, he can yell at me when he sees me at BlizzCon, if he sees me, because I'm kind of small. So, but they are going to be joined by community manager Lore, of course my favorite community manager, and they're going to be providing commentary and sharing insights about Ashran while they're playing the game. Notable streamers such as Hodded, Bajera, and Trekkie will also be in there, so you can check out their streams as well. However, if you do want to listen to the commentary part of it, you can tune in to the Twitch channel, which is twitch.tv/wow, and this is going to be tomorrow night, or actually tomorrow afternoon for me, tomorrow morning for you guys on the West Coast, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So
Oh, man.
That's
I'm
early.
going to be working then.
That's early. There's also a lot of news right now over the anti-grind mechanic, and I know that, Matt, you wanted to talk about this a little bit. So
I'll touch on this a little bit. It's just kind of, I mean, I've seen a lot of feedback, complaints from a lot of legitimate players that were kind of concerned because their favorite grind spots kind of got completely nerfed, and they're not getting as much experience as they would otherwise. And it's kind of more meant to be there to counteract any kind of exploits to be done by certain farmers or power leveling services or whatever. So, but at the same time, it's also there to kind of reward actual players, more generously, as they say in the post. So, the problem is that it's kind of wonky right now. It's either working a little too well or not well at all in some areas. So what they're kind of doing is they're going to scale it back a lot. And actually, I think they're turning it off completely. From the post right, yeah, they're disabling it entirely because they want to rework it. Maybe we'll have it in place with the expansion. Hopefully not. Hopefully it won't affect our leveling game when Warlords comes out. And like the thing with WoW is that it's not like vanilla where we had to literally grind hyenas and Tanarus from 48 to 50 or whatever it was back then just to get those levels because there were no quests available.
all right.
So, hopefully this is something that they can implement without compromising the game's fun.
Yeah, I mean, that's really hard to do, though, because, I mean, if there's any
Right.
type of way to exploit the game, people are going to find it, and they're going to find it fast. So unless it has something to do with phasing, or if they do some kind of internal counter, they say, okay,
Yeah.
you're killing this mob X amount of times that's exceeded the quest level or the quest requirement, something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I don't
And
know.
then-
What they
Yeah, but I even saw people posting on that forum post saying, well, I'm grinding for such and such drop off of this thing. Am I going to be flagged as a botter? And, I know people who certainly act like a botter. They go to this instance, then that instance, then that instance, and then they grind for this. And I don't know. That's really tough. That's really tough to
Yeah, I mean,
program around.
how can you confirm? Because even the people that own the bot are just going to say, yeah, that's actually me.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
I don't know.
It's hard to say.
That's what you get when you play a game like this, but we'll see what they do. Hopefully they can get it remedied, but as of right now, it's definitely looking a little bit dicey. They feel like they have something really solid in place, so
Yeah.
we'll see.
At least they're acknowledging that it doesn't work correctly and, taking actions for that.
Right, that it's a problem.
Yeah. But speaking of botters, did you guys hear about Hearthstone and all of the botting banning going on?
Yeah, they really been hitting that hard
Yeah.
because that's getting out of control. I mean, you're pretty much playing against the computer half the time. That's what it feels like.
Are you winning? Are you winning or not?
I mean, it's certainly easier to win because they can't predict too far ahead. Like they
Yeah.
the bots are not very smart. So, it's and actually, I was watching the streamer Ducksauce earlier today, and he was playing against a priest bot, and literally he had like two 37 39s on the board with like still a full board. He was like bringing the bot down to 1 health and just seeing how long the bot would go, just trying to stay alive and do the stupid stuff. So, and this was at like rank 20. I mean, they're all over the board, so they're all the way from the top down to legend ranks. So, which is unfortunate. But.
Yeah, jeez. Well, speaking of things that Blizzard has done well, or at least addressed well, they have increased the group finder listing cap from 50 to 100. So basically this means you look at the group finder and you get 100 listings of groups as opposed to 50, and just allows you to get better results in trying to find exactly what you're looking for. I know I've tried to look for, I need one stupid achievement in Heart of Fear. I need the first guy on Heroic, and I've been like looking for a group every night, and I keep finding ones that are already further in and stuff, but I've used the tool in that sense, but I don't know if any of you guys have tried Group Finder for anything, pugging
It's
anything.
funny because we
Frogs.
just did that the other night, and I would have invited you out, but you're a horde, so I couldn't.
Man, there's so much hate on the horde from this guy over
There's
here.
no hate going on here. It's just factual statements. I would have
He's gotta
invited
make
you.
up for the other three,
Every time I'm gonna buy you a drink, okay, it's gonna be the horde drink.
Hey,
I'm just gonna pour
Matt,
it.
if it makes you feel better, I made a Draenei Paladin like 2 days ago that I'm gonna level.
A paladin.
Yes. I don't know.
He doesn't even care.
Oh.
Look at that scowl.
Wow.
It's like, you made a what?
That's... Hey, I
What's
made
next
that
on our
undead-
list?
Undead priest? Want an undead priest?
It's like, and moving forward.
I wanted a Draenei, and I don't know.
I was originally Space Goat. I'll take the Space
I wanted a
Goat.
Draenei with the pompadour, and the best thing I could think of was a Paladin. Fit that hair,
There you go.
because aesthetics are important.
So moving on, we don't want to talk too much about horde hate.
No,
We got things to cover.
no, you don't.
So High Mall, it's been really quiet on the beta with respect to raid testing, but all of a sudden this week they opened up the entire instance of High Mall for normal mode. So that's like the flex mode currently in Siege, and it's, as they said, it's targeted to be for pug groups, friends and family, etc., etc. And the instance is supposed to sort of scale up in difficulty, not necessarily in terms of damage or whatever, but the bosses are supposed to be progressively harder, which they were on Heroic and Mythic somewhat, so should work out. I didn't get a chance myself to try to test it, but a friend of mine, Priestley, got in there and was on a group that got through like 3 or 4 bosses in a few hours, so I don't know if it's tuned right yet, but nice to see they're testing normal, because that's one of the last steps they need to do. So
Nice.
I've been meaning to, but I've been kind of burnt out on beta a bit.
How dare you?
Oh, but
dare you.
speaking of, I know, right? Speaking of things that have been opened up, Blizzard is opening up Australian servers located in Australia. They're undergoing maintenance right now, actually, and should be set to go later on tonight. I'm thinking about 8 or 9 hours. No more 200 ms latency. I can't express how exciting that is for, my Aussie buddies, and how terrible of an experience that would have to be for 10 years. So that's pretty monumental.
10 years later, they get their own server. Look at that.
Yay!
Finally.
Finally.
What are they even gonna do with their life? They're gonna realize what it's like to live on the other
It'll
side.
break the game.
They're like, oh my god, so this is what it's like to have like no lag? Like, yes.
Suddenly, the world #1 rating guild will be an Australian one.
Don't
Because
say
they're
that.
held back by latency.
Um,
Well, think about how much better of a player you have to be to pre-plan that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
oh yeah, I mean, I had in my like first raid group ever, we had a warlock who was in Brazil, and he was always raiding with like 300-400 latency, but he was still one of the better players in the raid group, and we were just amazed at how he could do that kind of thing
hey,
for
some
like
people can do it.
pre-casting and all that stuff. So
I mean,
yeah.
which- I
Yeah,
guess
and
if
that
you
was
have-
before you could adjust your your queue up in the settings where you can change it, but like, hey, adjust for this many
Right.
MS.
Yep. Yep.
I mean, I guess if you have enough practice, it's. But why? Ugh, that's just like terrible. I don't know why everyone play like that. I guess you really love the game. It's good for them, though. You know, good for them.
Yeah.
So now we're gonna spend the rest of the time talking about something we all very much care about: BlizzCon.
Yes!
So
A week-ish.
it's coming up really soon, about 9 days. And in case you guys don't know, we're pretty excited. Okay, it's time. So obviously it's the 7th and 8th of next month, located at Anaheim Convention Center. For you guys that don't know, which should be kind of a silly thing. If you haven't purchased your virtual tickets, you can purchase them online at the battle.net website for about $40 a pop. And of course, that comes with some goodies as well, other than the exclusive in-person swag that we're going to be getting. You do get some in-game items, things like that. So it's definitely worth getting if you can't make the event, which would be too bad, but maybe next year.
For all of you travelers, all of us lucky people that don't need to rely on the virtual ticket that can go, I'm going to give you guys a quick, succinct list of things to bring to Anaheim, since I am a BlizzCon veteran. I've been there since 2009, I think, or 8. One of those years.
It's a long time.
It was a long time, at like 4 or 5 consecutive BlizzCons now. So, first, the number one thing I stress to everybody: deodorant.
Yes,
Bring
please.
deodorant and actually use it, okay? Try to get the, there's a couple of ones that are like long lasting or whatever, like the all day or the 8 hour or whatever. Grab those if you want, especially if you know you're going to be out and about. I personally shower at least twice a day when I'm down there because I'm from Canada. I am not used to the obscene heat. Which what's the temperatures down there again?
Supposed to be
You had
between
list-
70 and probably somewhere between high 60s and low 80s and anywhere in between.
which is like 15 degrees Celsius to 24 degrees Celsius, and that's pretty damn hot for us people. Like, I wish I could go down there with I wish I could bring like a Fremen wetsuit with me or something. That's how hot it's going to be. Obviously, your other toiletries, any special soaps, toothbrush, toothpaste. If you plan to shave, shaving cream, that sort of thing, bring that with you. If you are a cold person, like, Katie over here, bring a sweater or a light jacket or a windbreaker perhaps for, travel, especially if you plan on going outside and that sort of thing. There are going to be a lot of lines, especially when the first day that you're there to redeem your ticket, or if you plan on lining up for certain parties or whatever. Have something handy just in case it gets a little chilly. Make sure there's room in your luggage for the goodie bag. There was a goodie bag preview a couple days ago on Wowhead, and it looked like there was going to be a lot of cool toys and stuff that you want to bring home. And this is on top of anything you choose to buy. If you don't take advantage of the BlizzCon store sale going on right now, where you can buy it online, and you want to do it in person, then make sure you've got some room.
Don't get ripped off by the guys that hang out at the convention center
Don't
to
skip.
mail your stuff out for you.
Yeah,
It's
don't skip
so
on that.
expensive.
Let's see. Check. Oh, yes, for shoes. Okay, at a convention, there's going to be a lot of standing around. There's going to be a lot of walking around. Bring really comfortable shoes.
Tennis shoes, sneakers, anything like that.
Yeah, runners, anything that. I personally took the extra step of replacing my insoles entirely, and oh my god, they make a huge difference. Slippers and Crocs, really? Who threw that in there? I would not put in Crocs. who edited this sheet to put in Crocs? No, we're not. Don't just put it. Just bring slippers with you for walking around inside the hotel or whatever.
Or trolling
That's
you.
just Man, I say anything on this thing. Jeez. For clothes, t-shirts are obviously the norm. If you have your own guild-branded t-shirts or track jackets, by all means, please do so. I myself am rocking the Conquest track jacket, the vintage track jacket. It looks really awesome. So if you have one of those, by all means, bring something nice for the wear. Pants, shorts. For us Canadians, it's shorts. We have to maintain ventilation and temperature. Otherwise, we overheat and we sweat like crazy, and that's no fun for anybody that hangs around us. So
Keep your nether regions well aerated.
exactly. So jeans, shorts, pants, whatever. Have pants on. You're not raiding at home for crying out loud. This is really important for international travelers, especially for your phones. No doubt your current phone company has a roaming plan. I would strongly discourage this unless they give you an absolute steal. My personal game plan is to go down there and I buy a US SIM card and I replace my phone. Now, my phone is unlocked, so I can do this. I don't know. You may need to unlock your phone, and your carrier may charge you a certain amount of money to unlock it. But I find that you'd save a lot more money anyways doing so. Yes, there's wireless there. I'm sure the hotels offer them. The convention center also offers it, but you've got, what, 20,000 people tapping into the wireless at the same time?
Yep.
And you would be hard pressed to even get anything out at all. So or even if you're trying to communicate with your guild or your friends or whichever. So I would suggest getting a US SIM card and just get like the 1 month plan, because it's going to be way cheaper than anything you can get with roaming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's about what you should really bring.
Bring a water bottle.
Right.
I forgot, someone from Twitch
Yes.
chat mentioned that. Bring a
Mr.
water
Greasy
bottle.
Walker.
Bring
yes.
two.
We have that further down the list, but we'll
I'm
mention
just going
it
to
again.
reemphasize it
Yep.
anyways. Yeah. And bring
you-
deodorant.
And you could, yes, please, for love of God, if anything you took out of this, please just bring
Oh.
smell good.
Yeah.
Smell
or at least
amazing.
don't smell bad. Like, if you can't find the person that smells bad, that's you. You're the person that smells bad. And I can say this because I'm not talking to your face directly. I'm not at BlizzCon, so I can tell you through this camera, don't stink, please, okay?
We'll smell it down there, guys, okay?
When it comes to actual travel, there's a lot of different ways that people are going to be getting there. I can tell you that last year when I went, a couple buddies of mine, we rented a vehicle. You can usually rent a car between 2 to 4 weeks before the event. You can have really great success on websites such as Hotwire, and you can usually get them around $20 a day for a rental. Really only recommend this if you think you're going to be sightseeing a little bit around the convention center or going to certain places like In-N-Out Burger, where it's about 15-ish minutes away from the convention. And of course, In-N-Out Burger is always one of those places you want to stop. But again, we'll get to that under the old food section. So there are also several airports, I wouldn't say several, there's a few airports you can fly into. SNA, which is the John Wayne Airport, or another big one's LAX. There are, those are the two usual big airports that most people fly into. I personally am flying into LAX because it was cheaper for me to fly into LAX. John Wayne is a much smaller airport compared to LAX and is typically more expensive to fly into. However, flying into LAX, there are some drawbacks, such as it's an hour from LAX to the convention center, and that's a one-way drive. Okay, the traffic is absolutely hellacious if you aren't used to city traffic. I live in Charlotte, so Charlotte traffic is pretty terrible because the population is too big for the infrastructure. So I'm constantly in traffic jams and rush hour traffic, and so I'm kind of used to it. So, but if you're not, just expect that. Car rental sites are off the airport property, so if you are going to rent a car from LAX, please understand that you're going to have to go off the property, which means you have to take a cab or a shuttle or something in advance to get over to actually go get your car.
There's usually a shuttle that'll pick you
There's
up.
usually a shuttle from that, whoever is in
the
it's
terminal,
Enterprise,
yeah.
or if it's, they'll kind of direct you, but just something to keep in mind. It's not like you're going to get off, get your luggage and go. You're going to have to travel a little bit more. But from SNA or the John Wayne Airport, it's roughly around the same area as the convention center. It takes about half the time to get there, and that's on the absolute worst possible conditions. So for a lot of people, they'll say it takes about 15 minutes with good traffic. So also, if the rentals are right there in the garage, so again, you can just get your bags, walk to the garage, and grab your car. So a lot of people do prefer to fly John Wayne, but for me, again, it was just a little bit too expensive. So I'm not going to drop an extra $150, $200 for convenience. That's, in my opinion, is very silly. So now you got to the airport. What do you do now? Okay, well, there's different ways of transportation on top of that. Airport shuttles, something I'm going to be taking. There's different ways to look into this. I looked at Super Shuttle recently, which is the mode of transportation. Looks like I'm going to be taking. Friend and I have to work out the details, but from what I understand, what we figured out is that if you do individual, it's like $70 one way. But if you do shared or partnered ride, it's $15 a person. And I think the big difference is the shared is basically just public transportation. It's like a bus. And the other one is a little bit more personal. So obviously you want to select the shared ride because It's going to save you a bunch of money. But there are other things you can use, such as the Greyhound buses. There's a Disney Pass holders bus. If you do have any tickets to that, you can certainly get a ride from them if you're staying at their resort, because they'll include that in their part of their travel packages. Also Uber, if you use any like Uber, Lyft, Sidecar, any of those type of options are an option, but they're not good options because they're generally very expensive. If you're going to be driving there, there's multiple different ways to get there. Obviously, the big thing to take away from driving is I'm not going to tell you how to get there because you have GPS, but it is about $15 a day right around the convention to park your car. So depending on how many days you're going to be there, you got to keep in mind you're going to stow away at least $60 just for parking. But if you split that with some people, it's not so bad. Other modes that for people that are around the area: trains, Amtrak, the Metrolink, cabs, and of course the bus. If you are looking for a cab anywhere around the city, the number for that is 800 for my taxi. So 800 for my taxi. So that way you can get around, do the things you want to do, go to In-N-Out Burger, or go to these other places, and then be able to come back. So that way you know the actual local cab companies. But a lot of times there's apps for that, so a lot of you guys are usually prepared for that. There's also the bus that goes around, the Anaheim Resort Transportation System, but they don't start sometimes as early as you need them to. Like I know, for example, I'm flying out of LAX really early in the morning on Sunday, so I might have to take a cab from the convention center to LAX, which is going to be really expensive. But that's because I have to be at the airport at like 5 a.m. And a lot of times the shuttle services don't start until 7. So keep that in mind. If you are kind of expecting just to take a shuttle, you might not actually get that chance. So
You can get a later flight?
I could if I wanted to pay another $250.
Oh, that's rough.
Yep. So
Dang.
I'm not doing that. No way. This flight cost me like $3.99 or something like that from Wednesday to Sunday. But
Sean, you mentioned the parking and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Is there enough for the amount of people that are there, or is it like obviously you got to get there early and whatnot, but is it enough for the traffic, I suppose?
Well, I mean, there is and there isn't. It depends on how close you want to be. But from my understanding and what a lot of people have said, at least from last year that drove, that the Toy Story lot, which is up a block from the convention center, is cheap at $15 a day, and that's where a lot of people park because there's an enormous amount of room. And if you guys aren't familiar, if this is your first time going to Anaheim, a block, I'm going to put in air quotes, in Anaheim is a fairly long ways. So for most people.
It's like 5 blocks.
Yeah, it's quite long. So just keep that in mind too. That's another reason why you want to bring some comfortable footwear. So that takes care of the travel part of the section.
All right, let's move on. Let's talk about phone apps. You're gonna have your phones with you, right? So, and you're gonna want to have some apps that are gonna be relevant to you that are gonna help you out. So, obviously, number one thing you want to get is the Blizzcon app. They recently updated it sometime last week. It gave things like the overall a map of the area, layout, schedules, and a list of upcoming events, along with all other cool stuff. So, absolutely get the Blizzcon app. Depending on your carrier, on your flight carrier this time, your airline may have their own app, and this is useful for things like checking in advance, or knowing what gate to run to, or any updates that might occur because of delays or any of that sort of stuff. So grab that too. I know flights like the one I'm taking is Alaska Airlines, WestJet. I don't know what the other U.S. ones are, like what JetBlue probably has one somewhere, or Southwest.
Southwest, Delta,
so
American.
I'm sure your airline carrier will have an app that'll do the same things, right?
Yeah.
App that was suggested, Gate Guru. It tells you most of the restaurant amenities, I suppose, at the airport that you're traveling through. So if you're landing, for example, in Chicago and you're hungry, or you want to know where the bathroom is, in advance before you land. So it's great to know in advance where to go. Otherwise, you spend precious time scrambling, running around, and not knowing where to go. What else we got here? Let's see. FlightAware, another one. You can track your flights, make sure your connection isn't late. Seat Guru, if you need a better seat in your plane, because, well, let's face it, we all want better seats.
Yep.
Because I know I do. Wi-Fi Finder. I'm actually surprised this is a good one. I've never thought about this one. It'll help you track down Wi-Fi spots near you, and especially ones that are free, or if there's any that require a cost, which is really handy for those of you that don't want to spring for a new SIM card or whatever, like my earlier suggestion. This is another way you can go about it, or if you want to use it for your laptop, iPad, anything, your tablet, I suppose. So that's a good app for that. A couple more. Waze. This is for those of you that are driving. This will, I believe, I use Waze myself actually for like just my commute, and I find that it's really handy. It's a better version of Google Maps because it'll tell you things like not only where there's a slowdown on the intersections, but if there's a specific reason behind them, like if there's an accident or if there's, potential if there's a speed trap or something like that, it'll mention it and kind of updates and filters it out to everyone around you.
There's gonna be a lot around the convention.
Yeah, I'll bet there is.
Thursday.
Yeah. I got two more that are food related. Obviously, Yelp. Yelp's a big one. You can use Yelp or Urban Spoon, whatever tickles your fancy. This one will help you track down places to eat that are nearby. It'll give you things like phone numbers to call in to make a reservation, or any food menus so you know in advance what to get. Remember, there's going to be 20,000-ish people at BlizzCon, and everyone's going to be pretty hungry. So the places that you want to go eat will most likely be packed as well. So you want to. I don't think they're taking reservations. I don't think any place is going to be taking reservations personally, but
you never know.
Still, it's good ahead to call in advance and see if you can maybe, if you're lucky, right, and just kind of find out what the wait is like. For example, maybe there's a 30-minute wait or a 15-minute wait, and you should be okay by the time you get there.
Right.
Lastly, if you want to keep in touch with your guild, your friends, Twitter, WhatsApp, another one's what's it called, Kick, KIK.
Yeah.
Not familiar with that one myself. Kick, yeah, you can use that.
It's pretty much identical to text messaging, but you can limit like who talks to you. I used it all the time to get a hold of my Aussie guildies without having to pay 50 cents a text
to
text them and stuff like that.
Nice.
So it's one way to get around like international texting, but it's pretty reliable and you can do all kinds of crazy stuff with it. But at the very, very least, it's really good for messaging.
Yeah, good messaging app. Great way to save some fees here too. So, and that just about covers most of the phone apps. Can you guys think of anything else that's not on the list?
A lot of people like to give out their cell numbers just to meet up, like to call real quick. But
yeah,
I mean, that's rates and data charges apply, especially if you're out of country or you're out of your zone or whatever. So, those other types of apps like Kick and there's another one I used to use for a buddy of mine that's in the military. When he was over in Afghanistan, we would use it because it would use internet rather than like roaming charges or like data charges, which is like the same idea. And that's great for people that are traveling as well. That way it won't eat up your roaming. So, which is the extra battery stuff, which we're going to talk about here in a minute. It's also really important because you're going to be roaming most likely. It's each your battery.
Yeah, and if you're not going to be using data or Wi-Fi, put your phone in airplane mode. It'll save your battery, especially if you're mostly just keeping it to take pictures.
Yeah.
Bring a charging cable too. Too many times I've had to deal with guildies who forgot their charging cables. Actually, if you're lucky, you can always go to the hotel lobby and ask, because there's always a whole bunch of people that always forget them, so they have spares of whatever phone model cable you need lying around.
That's good too.
Yeah. On that same line, extra battery packs. I'm bringing 4 with me.
Dang.
because they're like gold.
Yeah, I'd say.
We sell them, probably.
Yeah, for real.
My theory is to bribe my way to the front of the line for folks that camp out.
Wow.
Because last year, I had some friends that were at the front of the line, and they had a sign that said, "We've got coffee, we've got food, bring something else." And most of them wanted extra battery life.
Wow.
I can see that. Well, I just got a couple more additional things since we're talking about things extra to bring. Someone mentioned the water bottle earlier. Good tip there. We talked about shoes. We talked about the batteries and everything. Probably also one of the neater things I've seen are people bringing business cards that have like your BattleNet address or your BattleNet name, guild name, all that other kind of stuff. So you can be like, yeah, this is me, and add me on Real ID later, that kind of stuff. So, probably a little late to get that going. Well, no, you can probably get that going before time. Other things, lanyards, in case your badge one gets ripped off, that kind of thing. And then also, as we talked about, there's lots of lines. So you can bring iPad, tablet, Game Boy, that kind of stuff, but you can't bring computers, actual laptops, into the con itself. So
or flash drives.
Yeah.
Because they don't like that.
Yeah. So that's just a few more additional things that to bring.
Also, don't forget to bring your email and ID the badge, the actual barcode in your email. You absolutely need to have that. If you don't have your that particular email with a barcode on it, or your actual ID, full name, not like half name. Like I have 2 first names, for example. If my license didn't have the 2 first names, they won't accept it. They're very, very, very picky on that type of stuff. And if you don't have it, you're not going to get your badge. You don't get your badge, you don't get in. So,
Yep.
So do not forget that stuff. It's very, very important. Very, very.
On that same line, especially if you bought your ticket from somebody else or somebody bought your ticket for you, make sure you get their ID and card info, because otherwise you're SOL.
Right.
Completely.
There's something really cool too this year that you can actually get discounts if you are going in person. So, for example, one of them that is the biggest thing in my opinion is you can get a $59 Disney ticket, 1-day park pass for $59 as being a visitor to California and a BlizzCon attendee. So it's a little perk you get. So if you do have a little extra time, you want to go visit Disney, which is right behind the convention center, $59 per day. It's $95 for park to park 1-day pass. So if you want to start early and go all day. Something else I want to mention real quick, because a lot of people ask, is about food. There is plenty of places to eat. One of my favorites is the trucks that are right outside the convention. There are plenty of just really awesome things to eat. Also, what was really cool last year, and I wish I could get a hold of this guy, but they were playing, 2 of the trucks were playing Twizcast on repeat on the video monitors, which is really cool.
That's
to see,
cool
to see Twiz on there. And that some guy just took all the episodes, ripped them onto a DVD, and that's what they were playing over and over again. So I know there's a lot more competition, and I'm not quite, this quite isn't as popular as his show, because we also haven't been doing it for nearly as long. But if I could get my show on there, that would actually be really, really cool. So if you guys want to rip it and give it to somebody. You can eat at the Hilton. You can eat. There's a place called the Harbor. There's downtown Disney. There's plenty of shops. There are many places to eat. Again, you can use Yelp for these type of things. There's 2 places you the most notably want to eat. One of them, if you're not from the area, like me, is In-N-Out Burger. I would eat In-N-Out Burger every single day if there's one by me. So absolutely check that out. And the other one is Medieval Times. If you have never gone to a Medieval Times, that's also really cool. And a lot of us that go there like this type of stuff, fantasy, nights,
Yeah.
whatever, So this is a really great experience to kind of nerd out with all your friends. You would normally get to see very often. So it's another great activity to do. Plus, it's maybe also for people that are minors. I mean, all of us, we don't really think about that because we're well above 21, but some of you guys aren't. So that's another activity to kind of get your guild together and do. Also family stuff as well if you're bringing family along. So there you go.
Yes. And I'm sure you guys have heard a little bit that the BlizzCon party kind of never stops, even after the convention closes for the night. And there are lots and lots of after parties this year. For those of you guys that are heading into town early, there's a bonfire party on Huntington Beach on Wednesday night. On Thursday is the Wowhead Wow Insider party at the Annabelle Hotel, again, from 7 to 10, which is just right around the corner.
Wow,
That's what it says. That's what I heard. You should know. You have better connections than I do.
Yeah, I thought it started earlier. I'm gonna double check this, but keep going.
Matt has all the connections.
Right. Anyway, so that's Thursday night. The Blizzard benefit dinner for charity, the $750 tickets. Takes place on Thursday as well, and so is World of Podcasts, which I do believe we're a part of. Mm-hmm. Will be at the Hilton, which starts, the benefit dinner starts at 6:30, and World of Podcasts starts, I think, also at 6:30, but they end at 10:30 and 11:30 respectively. So that's kind of got your evening taken care of. And of course, as you guys have heard, Hilton parties are pretty much all night, every night, that whole week.
It doesn't end at all. It's just
not until they throw you out.
2 a.m. I think.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. On Friday, there is the Convert to Raid / Signals Media party. That's at 7 again at the Hilton. Twisted Nether has they have a bowling going on, so it's something a little different. But yeah, you can get knock some pins down. And the New Egg party is again at the House of Blues, which is downtown Disney. That one is a long walk or a short ride, so it's a little harder to get to.
Is that invite only as well, or is that something else?
It was open last year, and they openly announced that it was taking place, so I don't know
Okay.
I didn't see anywhere that it was invite only,
I must be thinking of something else then.
possibly. The Twitch party is invite
That might
only.
be what it was. That's probably what it
Yeah,
was.
Yeah,
and that one's on
which
Sunday.
in
Yeah.
theory, it was last year, but nobody, even folks that work at Twitch, can say when it's taking place. So it's
If there is
either
one.
super ultra secret or there isn't one. So keep that in mind. And then on Saturday, there is a hunter party at the Hilton. It has been requested that you actually, play a hunter before going, but you know
Yeah.
how it is.
I say us non-hunters
right.
should just go and crash it.
No.
And they wonder why people hate hunters. Yeah.
I know, right?
I play a
way.
rogue, and everyone's supposed to hate my
Yes.
class, but the hunters trump it by miles.
You know
Yeah.
that all the loot will be there because it's
Hey.
all hunter loot.
One of the people in my party that's going to BlizzCon is a hunter, so hunter by transference, by osmosis. Yay!
Ugh, hunters. So there's something else we want to talk about here that's kind of serious, and we don't have a lot of time to talk about, but we do want to mention it. And, and we've all, if you've been there, you've kind of seen yourself, but it's actually how to act while you're at BlizzCon. Your social mannerisms, the way that you present yourself. There's a lot
Not
to kind
on
of
the
cover.
internet anymore. You
Right.
have to remember how to be real people. And that's a big issue because people kind of forget that you can't just run up and hug people like you would in the game. You actually should be asking permission.
Right.
That includes touching anybody at any time, but like cosplayers, a lot of times their costumes are really delicate and ask. They are probably more than willing to stop and take pictures, but at least be courteous before you grab their weapon or anything crazy like that. And not just cosplayers, but anybody in general. And as a female going to BlizzCon, this will be my 4th BlizzCon this year. And I've never had a problem in the past, but last year I went by myself, like really, really by myself, and things got a little weird one of the nights. Most of the people, and I don't want to say this isn't everybody at BlizzCon, like lots of people are super awesome. They're very respectful. And, it is one of the best experiences I've ever had. But there was one dude that just decided to walk up and pet me. I wasn't in a costume or anything. They just decided to pet me and try to hold my hand and follow me back to my hotel. And that was a really terrifying experience because that night I didn't have a buddy with me.
It's absolutely unacceptable.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah.
Don't
it
do
was-
stuff like that.
I got part of his face in one of the pictures that I took because honestly what I did is I was leaving the Hilton party. I stay at the DoubleTree around the corner, and to get away from this person I just dived into a group of random drunk people that were woohooing on the sidewalk outside the hotel to kind of get away. So we took bunches of selfies and all kinds of crazy stuff, but safety in numbers. I didn't know any of those people, but who knows what could have happened otherwise.
Yeah.
Have a buddy. Complete strangers last year that I met are, really good friends, and I'm so excited to see them this year. But, I always, except for that one time, I had a buddy the rest of the time.
If you're going to approach someone like a cosplayer, try to approach from the front or from the sides. Don't just come up behind them like that. That's, they may or may not be already in a conversation, so wait for a gap in the conversation before you go up to them and introduce yourselves. So even make eye contact or even do a little wave that you want to come up to them, but never go up to someone from behind like that or spook them or whatever. That's a no-no.
I mean, just
Well,
imagine how
same-
you'd feel. Why would you want someone to come up and grab you or touch you or
Yeah,
anything
don't.
like that? That's weird. Don't be that person. And it's something that we can sit there and say like this, but it is something that people really need to take seriously because it's
Especially with the events of, whatever, it's that stuff.
I mean, this is a time to celebrate. It's something that we all have a passion for, not to mistake that for interest because of related passion. You know what I mean? It's like,
Right.
oh, you like this game, so obviously you like me as well, right? It's like, no.
Yeah, you can't draw too many conclusions. And I'm not trying to say don't approach people because, like I said, I went by myself and I started conversations with people in line to get my badge. I started conversations with random people that were waiting to get into the convention, or random people that were at the parties, and almost everyone was really, really cool. I mean, one night I had some complete stranger drive my car back to my hotel from downtown Disney. Completely respectful, made sure I got to my hotel, gave me my keys, all said and done. So it's not like everybody's terrible. It's just in case, be on the lookout. And, that was one of those times where I kind of regret getting a little more schnockered than I should have. Right. But it turned out okay, but it could not have.
I kind of assume good intentions when you talk to people. Not everyone's out to get you. Not everyone's trying to be a dick or whatever. But at the same time, if if I went up to Sean here after a long day when he's out doing his thing, he's getting information, talking to people, that sort of thing, and maybe he's tired, or maybe he's giving me the stink eye, or maybe he's just got that annoyed face because he's just exhausted. He might not be in the mood to talk right now, and it's not your fault. It's just he's had a long day, he's really tired. Maybe it might seem like he's giving you the cold shoulder, but don't take it personally, and you can always try to catch them again later when they're more receptive.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure there's lots of people that you'll be like, oh, I know that guy from The Edge. I know that guy from this and this. And again, approach it like you would want to be approached yourself if you were in that same position. Right. Golden rule kind of stuff.
I mean, especially all of us, and I mean, a lot of people that I know that are more well-known than I am in the community. I mean, that's what happens. They'll say, oh my gosh, you're so-and-so, can I have a picture? And that's fine, or they'll say, hey, this come and ask how you're doing, or they just want to talk for a little bit, that's fine. But, where you draw the line is, very obvious being creep, like following people around or touching people or, unwanted advances. I mean, we shouldn't have to, the sad part is we shouldn't have to tell you this stuff. But we want to get the information out there because sometimes, especially as guys, like, we don't feel threatened by this. But women feel a lot more threatened by this because, they don't know. I mean, like, what you're going to do. Guys are definitely a lot more aggressive when it comes to this type of stuff, so you have to just be conscious of your surroundings and who you're talking to, and just please be aware of other people's feelings. It's this
personal space.
It's a really, really big deal for some people, especially cosplayers. People think just because they're dressed in these very provocative outfit, that means that they want to get hit on by everyone that walks by them, or they want, they're looking to, get down. You know what I'm saying? It's like, no, they're not. They're here to have fun. They're here to celebrate a passion of theirs. It's just, don't be a friggin' weirdo creep. So, because I will be that guy that's gonna come to you that you don't know, and I'm gonna tell you you're being a fucking weirdo creep, and I'm probably gonna punch you in the mouth. So don't make me punch you in the mouth, which I will do. Because
don't punch him in the mouth.
You guys,
Sean the enforcer.
I will. I'm telling you. You guys know how I am on this podcast. Wait till you see me in person. You think it's bad now? Try not being able to get away from me. Right now, you can just click exit. Okay. Eventually, I'm gonna have my Nikes on, and I will run you down, boy. I will run you down. I guarantee I'm more athletic than you are. You understand what I'm saying? So don't you do it.
That's not.
And one thing, caveat I do want to throw into that is that if you see somebody that's distressed, it might not be a bad idea to be like, hey, do you need a way out? That sort of thing. If somebody's like got somebody else backed into a corner, like that's how I got out of the situation that I did. Is I just dived into it and kind of whispered. Everybody was talking. I just kind of whispered. I'm like, hey, this guy's following me. Can we do something? And they were like, oh, sweet. Oh, yeah, awesome. BlizzCon. Woo! Let's take pictures. So a bunch of people whipped out their pictures, and this guy bolted as soon as people whipped out their cameras, which is all the more reason that I was like, wow.
It's a nice strat. I never thought about that.
Yeah.
Because then you guys get a space. It's good. So there you go. That's your pretty complete BlizzCon guide. If we didn't really want to talk about anything inside the convention, just in case some people don't like to look forward to it, they like to be surprised by everything, and they don't want to know what's in the goodie bag, and they don't want to know all this stuff, and that's totally understandable. So to each their own, I guess. So since we are running a little bit late, this is a little bit longer of an episode that we normally have. We'll do shouts real fast, and then we'll get you guys out of here. Matt, as always, shoutouts. Never any shoutouts, man. I'm gonna give a shout out for you. I'm gonna give a shout out to
the Horde.
Yeah.
For the horde.
Horde paladins. That's what we want.
What?
That gives them the angry feels.
I'm
Wow.
gonna give a shout out to Hester the Druid because she beat me to it because I'm lazy and a procrastinator sometimes. But she put together a really nice schedule of all the parties. And you guys that mentioned some other stuff that's missing in chat, I will add that to that list because I didn't know about it.
There you
But
go.
yeah,
That's why we do it.
it's been floating around Twitter. Go ahead and hit me up if you guys need a link. But it is hestiathedruid.com. And that's HESTIAH.
Will.
Shout out to chat tonight. It was pretty active. I'm happy about that. And Render and Tropy giving me a nice compliment on raid videos. That was nice.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Stuff is hard to do. So
Go
that
chat.
is, it's nice to see that kind of stuff and people that do that stuff in the community because it is a lot of work. So it always feels good to get the old good jobs every now and then.
Yep.
Thankless jobs like police officers of the internet. As for me, I don't know. I don't really have any big shouts right now. I'm going to pull a Matt today. I don't have a shout out anyone. I'm going to shout out for you, Matt, because you don't have shout outs. It's going to be ironic.
Sure.
So there you go. Well, that's going to do it. Episode 37 for us. We will have one more episode before Blizzcon, which is pretty crazy to think. However, if there's something you liked about the show or you just want to leave us a comment, you can contact us to leave us the feedback at edge@blizzpro.com. You can also follow the show on Twitter, edge_BlizzProTV, and of course, underneath our names are our own individual Twitter handles. But until next week, guys, we're out. We will see you later. Peace.